Berkshire.
Thank you very much indeed, and I want to thank very much our researcher Louise Wells and producer John Hudson for all their work on the programme today as well. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning with some great music from the 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s. And in a moment, it is, of course, going to be, it's going to be Howard Hughes, who's got the news for us, as always. Haven't you, Howard?
I certainly have, Timmy. Have a lovely weekend. A sensational one, may I say. Now, coming up in the next half hour here on the Lunchtime News at BBC Radio Berkshire, all the news you need to hear, the airstrikes in Iraq, Farage, all the rest of it. Plus, we'll tell you what this sound is.
BBC Radio Berkshire, the Lunchtime News with Howard Hughes. Be part of it.
Like I said, very busy show, even though it's a Friday. David Cameron has said the group that calls itself Islamic State is a real threat to the nation and has to be stopped. He's been telling MPs why Britain should take part in airstrikes against the militants. Describing their brutality as staggering, he said there was a moral justification to act.
Is there a threat to the British people? The answer is yes. ISIL has already murdered one British hostage and is threatening the lives of 2 more. The first ISIL-inspired terrorist acts in Europe have already taken place with, for instance, the attack on the Jewish Museum in Brussels. Security services have disrupted 6 other known plots in Europe.
The Prime Minister speaking this morning. At the heart of any action would be RAF Akrotiri in Cyprus, where a lot of our jets that can reach that area are based. Reporter Nathan Morley is very close to there right now on Cyprus. What's the mood there?
Well, I think all of the personnel on Akrotiri are currently tuned to British news networks. Obviously, everybody will be involved in any strikes on Iraq, so there's a great deal of anticipation, but I think there is a general feeling we all know what the outcome will be. The soldiers I've spoken to over the past few days since David Cameron spoke about this possibility at the UN was that, yes, they would get the green light. So it's basically wait and see. I think most soldiers will be by their televisions at 7:30 p.m. tonight. We're a couple of hours ahead of you to see how the vote goes.
Now, you have lived there for quite a few years, and I know that you've been there when other actions have been on. What's it like in those phases?
Well, there has been action going on for, as you know, the Akrotiri kicked into action in August with the humanitarian missions in Iraq and, of course, the reconnaissance missions. It's a very well-oiled operation. These folks at Akrotiri and Decalia and all of the British bases around the world know exactly what they're doing. You wouldn't actually notice as an observer on Cyprus that there was anything different because these bases are always busy. But I would say the past few weeks we have seen a little bit more activity on the base, on the airfield, more aircraft coming in and out, and now there is the possibility that French jets may be based in Cyprus, but at a Cypriot base. So you know, there is always activity. I haven't noticed anything extraordinary, nothing unusual in the past couple of weeks, though.
What does it feel like to be there during this kind of thing?
I think there is a little bit of concern this time because if there are strikes and they do take place from Akrotiri, it will be the first time that airstrikes have taken place from a British base in Cyprus. That's never happened before. They have been involved in reconnaissance missions, humanitarian missions, but there's never been strikes. And the feeling is here, obviously, this would then put Cyprus in a very difficult position because they are now a potential target, and we are hearing now that security is being stepped up. We've also heard of a threat to Cyprus by ISIS. You've got to remember, Howard, we're only 86 kilometers from Syria. There may be a sea barrier there, but it's very, very close. So I think everybody, the entire nation, are watching developments very carefully, and they just hope there are no repercussions.
Nathan Morley, my friend, thank you very much for that. Monitoring events as ever from Cyprus for BBC Radio Berkshire. 109 now.